The Las Vegas Raiders never did anything like this before. Not in 24 years without a playoff win. Not since they moved to Vegas. Fernando Mendoza is a Heisman winner, a national champion, the first overall pick of the 2026 NFL Draft. He is now the face of the silver and black. Here is the part nobody is talking about loud enough. The most surprising rookie on this roster might not even be him. One man wearing number 31 could change the entire defensive identity. Watch what happens once the pads come on. John Spytek ran the most aggressive offseason in franchise memory. He hired Klint Kubiak straight off a Super Bowl LX win in Seattle. He signed Kirk Cousins. He brought in Tyler Linderbaum to anchor the offensive line. He paid Kwity Paye to chase quarterbacks next to Max Crosby and Malcolm Koonce. He added Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker at linebacker. Jalen Nailor to stretch the field. Then he stacked 10 draft picks on top of all of it. There was a trade, though. A trade nobody expected. A trade everyone thought was done. Then it wasn't. And the reason why changes everything for 2026. The defense flips to a 3-4 under Rob Leonard. Brock Bowers comes back from injury. Ashton Jeanty gets a real offensive line in front of him. The AFC West still has the Chiefs, but the gap closed. By the end of the next 20 minutes, you will know why 8 wins is the floor, not the ceiling. You will know which division rival the Raiders sweep this season. And you will know the rookie scouts compared to a first-round talent for free. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Raiders and all the NFL content. Can we get 500 likes for Raiders? Klint Kubiak does one thing better than almost anyone in football. He takes a quarterback nobody believed in and makes him a Pro Bowler. Sam Darnold went from Carolina backup to Super Bowl champion under Kubiak in one season. The Seattle offense ranked 3rd in scoring at 28.4 points per game. They tied for 10th in rushing. They led the league in yards per play. Kubiak comes from the outside zone tree his father built. The same tree Sean McVay studied. The same tree Mike Shanahan won 2 Lombardis with. Fernando Mendoza said on Pat McAfee, he watched hours of Seattle film during his Heisman season because he saw the system fit. The system fit is real. Mendoza completed 72% of his passes at Indiana. He led the FBS in passing touchdowns at 41. He won the Walter Camp, the Maxwell, the Davey O'Brien, and the Manning Award. He went 16-0. Klint Kubiak ran the same offense Kirk Cousins thrived in for 3 seasons in Minnesota. Cousins threw for over 12,000 yards in those 3 years. He made the Pro Bowl in 2021 with 33 touchdowns. Now Cousins sits in the same room as Mendoza. Mentor, insurance policy, bridge starter, whatever the Raiders need him to be. The protection got better too. Tyler Linderbaum is a Pro Bowl center. Spencer Burford played for Klint Kubiak in San Francisco. Trey Zune adds versatility at guard. Brock Bowers returns as the best young tight end in football. Ashton Jeanty ran for 975 yards as a rookie behind a worse line. The pieces are aligned. The defense had to match it. The defense moves to a 3-4 base under defensive coordinator Rob Leonard. The personnel had to change to fit the scheme. Spytek signed 3 impact pieces to do it. Nakobe Dean comes from Philadelphia. He was the heart of a Vic Fangio defense. He plays bigger than his size and blitzes with elite timing. Quay Walker comes from Green Bay. He led the Packers in tackles 4 straight seasons. He is one of 3 NFL players since 2000 to record at least 100 tackles and 1.5 sacks in each of his first 4 seasons. Dean and Walker were teammates at Georgia. The chemistry is built in. The edge group might be the best in the AFC. Max Crosby stayed put after the offseason chaos. Malcolm Koonce got re-signed. Kwity Paye came from Indianapolis as a former first-round pick with 74 starts under his belt. John Spytek said the saying upstairs in the front office during free agency was intelligently aggressive. The edge room proves it. Then they added Keiron Crawford at pick 67 from Auburn. He generated 43 pressures last season, including 5 sacks and 12 quarterback hits. The linebacker room behind those edges has speed and instincts everywhere. Jeremy Chin stays as the strong safety hybrid piece. Tommy Eichenberg holds depth behind Dean and Walker. Eric Stokes got re-signed at corner. Taron Johnson came over from Buffalo in a trade. The front 7 is loaded. The middle of the defensive line, though? The middle is where things get strange. The Raiders waited until the 7th round to draft a defensive tackle. The reason is a 6'6" Australian who has never started a real football game. Laki Tassi weighed 450 pounds in 2023. He was a rugby player from Goodna, Australia, born in Samoa, raised in Brisbane. His brother Tautala Tassi plays pro rugby for the Houston Sabercats. Tassi dropped over 100 pounds in 12 months. He learned American football at the NFL Academy in Queensland. He came to the Raiders last spring through the International Player Pathway Program at 6'6" and 348 pounds. He played offensive line under Pete Carroll through training camp. Pete Carroll said his favorite guy on the field to watch was Laki Tassi. Then the regime changed. Clint Kubiak and Rob Leonard moved him back to defensive tackle this offseason. The Athletics' Sam Warren spotted Tassi working with the defensive line group during voluntary workouts. The new staff sees a nose tackle in the 3-4 front. He is now around 340 pounds with 34-inch arms. The Raiders only drafted one defensive tackle, Brandon Cleveland, out of NC State at pick 229. 6'4", 315 pounds, 107 career tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 6 sacks. Spytech added Gary Smith III as an undrafted free agent from UCLA. The interior depth got built sideways instead of through the early rounds. The reference point everyone uses is Jordan Mailata, Australian rugby player. Never played a snap of football before the IPP program. Drafted in the 7th round by Philadelphia in 2018. 69 starts in 5 seasons and a Super Bowl ring. Tassi has bigger size and the right scheme around him. Jonah Laulu anchors the rotation alongside him. The defensive line story matters. The secondary story matters more. 4 picks. 4 secondary players. Tre'Dan Stukes at pick 38 from Arizona. 6 seasons. 206 tackles. 7 interceptions. 35 passes defensed. He ran a 4.33 at the combine. He started as a walk-on. He left as a team captain. John Spytek picked him as the 2nd selection in the entire Raiders draft. Stukes is the defender the system was rebuilt around. Versatile enough to play nickel cornerback. Physical enough to play in the box. Smart enough to man the deep middle. He fits Rob Leonard's vision in every coverage. Jermod McCoy at pick 101 from Tennessee was the steal of the entire weekend. PFF ranked him 17th on their big board. A first-round talent on tape, he fell to the 4th round because of an ACL recovery from 2025. He ran a 4.38 at his pro day to prove the speed is back. Dalton Johnson at 150 reunites with his Arizona teammate Stukes. He led the Wildcats in tackles in 2024 and 2025. 97 tackles, 4 interceptions, best PFF coverage grade on the team at 88.6. Hezekiah Masses, at pick 175, led the FBS with 18 passes defended at Cal. Add the veterans. Eric Stokes got re-signed after starting all 16 games last year. Taron Johnson came over from Buffalo for a 6th-round pick. Darian Porter returns for year 2. Jeremy Chin anchors the box safety role. The number 1 was wearing number 31. Tre'Dan Stukes is the ball hawk who flips this entire defense. The Raiders identified the takeaway gap as the worst problem on the roster. They fixed it in 3 days. The AFC West is the toughest division in football. The Chiefs still own it. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have won 3 Super Bowls together. They make the playoffs every season. The Broncos found their quarterback in Bo Nix and the head coach in Sean Payton. The Chargers run a ground-based offense under Jim Harbaugh with Justin Herbert at the helm. None of these teams are easy outs. The Raiders went 3-14 last season. The gap looked unfixable in January. The gap is closing now. The Raiders gain ground in 3 specific places. The trenches, the secondary, the deep ball. Tyler Linderbaum plus Trey Zoon III plus Jackson Powers Johnson is a top 10 interior offensive line group on paper. The pass rush of Max Crosby, Malcolm Coombs, Kwity Paye, and Kieron Crawford rivals the Chargers and Chiefs front 7 depth. Tre'Dan Stukes, Jermod McCoy, Eric Stokes, Dalton Johnson is more athletic and more ball aware than what Denver puts on the field. The deep ball question gets answered by Jalen Naylor, Trey Tucker, Dontae Thornton Jr., and the matchup nightmare known as Brock Bowers. The Chiefs are still the kings until somebody beats them. The Broncos' defense is real, but their offensive line is shaky. The Chargers are tough, but they are missing a true number one at receiver. The Raiders have weapons. The Raiders have a quarterback room. The Raiders have a defense identity. None of those sentences applied a year ago. The offseason changed the entire division landscape. Whether Max Crosby is even part of it almost did not happen. The story almost ended differently. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported on March 7th, Max Crosby was being traded to Baltimore for the 14th overall pick in 2026 and a first-round pick in 2027. The trade was in place. The compensation was huge. The Ravens called Crosby and welcomed him to the team. Then the physical happened. The Ravens medical staff flagged the meniscus injury Crosby had surgery for in late December. They backed out of the trade. John Spytek released a one-sentence statement. The Baltimore Ravens have backed out of the trade agreement. No further comment. Crosby stayed in Las Vegas. Then Kirk Cousins signed. Crosby ran into Cousins walking through the building in early April. Crosby said the conversation fired him up. He said, "Dude has done a lot of great things in this league." He said adding Cousins is going to help a lot. He said there are more pieces coming. Then the Raiders drafted Mendoza at 1. Then Stooks at 38. Then Crawford at 67. Crosby watched the entire infrastructure get built around him. The man drafted in the 4th round in 2019 is now the centerpiece of a real defense again. 69.5 career sacks, 5 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros, 10 sacks last season even on a 3-14 team. Add Malcolm Koonce on the other side. Add Kwity Paye as the third edge. Add Kieran Crawford as a developmental hammer. Max Crosby does not need to be a hero anymore. He has to be himself. The trade falling through is the most important thing John Spytek did all offseason. Even though he did not actually do it, 8 wins is the floor. Mark it down. This is a team picking first overall last year for a reason. 3 wins in 2025. A locker room with no identity. A staff getting fired in November. Now look at the roster. Fernando Mendoza has the best supporting cast a number 1 overall pick has had in 15 years. Klint Kubiak has won everywhere he has been. Max Crosby is healthy and motivated. Brock Bowers is the best young tight end in football. Ashton Jeanty runs behind a real offensive line. The defense flipped to a 3-4 with the right personnel. The bold call. The Raiders sweep the Broncos in 2026. Both meetings. Denver lost their best edge rusher in free agency. Their offensive line is shaky. Their secondary lost a key piece. The Raiders' pass rush will live in their backfield. Mendoza will pick apart their 2 high-coverage shells. Drop your prediction in the comments. Tell me which team falls first. Subscribe before the next breakdown drops because the position-by-position rebuild grade is up next on this channel. The new era of silver and black is loaded with hope and verified talent. John Spytek built it. Klint Kubiak runs it. Tom Brady consults it. Mark Davis signs every check. Max Crosby anchors it. Fernando Mendoza leads it. Tre'Davious Stooks flips it. The next chapter of the Raiders starts now. The division will not see them coming until it is too late. The reset is real. The proof shows up on the grass in 12 weeks. Watch what happens when the pads come on.